Let's talk Fallout London, shall we?
Oh, please. I'm getting more and more excited about this every single day, bro, especially with headlines like this. Fallout London robot Speaker of the House is being played by the UK's former Speaker of the House. That is insane. That is
Yep, that
absolutely massive.
when you sent me that article, I was not only excited, but I burst out laughing because this guy is a legend in the sort of political world. He's no longer working in politics or as a sort of moderator to politics, but yeah, he is like he's iconic. There's the lines, the one-liners that he used to come out with while trying to moderate, parties in Parliament was fantastic. And just to hear that he is involved in this, wow, that's just got me hyped. And I mean, you don't know too much about him, do you? Do you, Raw?
All I know is that he was the actual the Speaker of the House. He was
So
the
yeah,
Speaker of the House between 2009 and 2019.
so yeah, we've not even mentioned his name. So his name's John Bercow, and he's like he's a no nonsense character that moderates Parliament. Well, he used to moderate Parliament essentially. So when when political parties were going to and fro and misbehaving in Parliament, he like literally slammed the hammer down and got them told to step back in line. He was shouting order, order constantly. Yeah, but to know that like that's so. I mean, that was for me. That was so random for him to be announced as part of a voice actor or part of the voice acting in Fallout London. That kind of blew my mind a little bit.
I mean, I feel like it's like that with most people right now. They kind of came out of nowhere with that news. I mean, us, along with many others, uh, probably missed that kind of attention to detail just playing through the game normally. I mean, that's the kind of attention to detail I really enjoy, though. That's one of the things that's got me so excited about this mod and like really got faith in this dev team is that small attention to detail. And Fallout has a bit of a reputation for having a wide array of celebrities and making guest appearances, but the fact that they have an actual politician playing a role as themselves in this, like, that's got to be a first for the franchise, right? Like, that's huge. And the fact that this is just a mod team that got him to do that, like, that kind of speaks on who he is as an individual, too. I don't know as much about him as you do. Clearly, there's a lot that I don't know, but that's awesome, man. Like, I think we can all agree on that.
Yep, 100%. And just like what you were sort of touching on there, I think that um, going from like the sort of history of Fallout and talking heads and characters, there have been some cracking characters. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's part of it's part of what sort of appeals to the like well, it's the positives, should I say, of the franchise. Because even going back to like Fallout 1, there was so many iconic like guys that you'd remember and you would look forward to speaking to again. Like, I mean, I could list them off, but I mean, people know, like, your likes of Harold. You've
Right.
got you've got Killian and Blackwater and Fallout One. You've got the drill, my personal
There's
favorite, the drill
power.
sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sergeant Dornan is one of my favorites. But then even going on to like the further games, you've got like your Fallout 3 characters as well. And your Fallout new. I think the New Vegas ones as well were absolutely brilliant. Like
Yes.
I
Yes.
loved I loved my favorite guy from I know we're sort of going down a rabbit hole here, but I'm just trying to emphasize the point that the acting and the voice characters have always been quite well done in terms of
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm going to say Boone from Fallout New Vegas. I loved him as a
Yes.
character. Like even his side quest, his quest and his dialogue and things like that. But even like Cassidy as well. I mean, I loved her storyline. I loved how she was voiced. Then you've got as well. Last one I'm going to chuck out is I really liked. Is it Veronica? From
Oh yeah.
the Brotherhood of Steel as well. She was really cool. All interesting characters. All people that you want to
Yeah.
you get invested into, and you want to find out more about their character and how they progress in the storyline. But yeah, going back to John Bercow, I mean, like having him in there, like it'd be really, really interesting. I mean, I would be wanting to find out as much as I can about his character and how he progresses and stuff, and what sort of roles he'll be playing as. Will he potentially be a companion? You never know. Do you know what I mean? It'd be one of those things. But yeah,
That would be
I'm excited.
crazy.
I'm
That
excited.
would be
I'm
crazy.
excited for it. I'm excited for finding out all that sort of thing.
Right. I mean, on top of that, like, it's crazy how far they've actually come. Like, I've been watching this mod over the past few years. It kind of, we'll get back to what happened to him last minute, but the mod is more or less ready to go right now. They're just waiting on GOG to finalize the installer. They're making sure that it's going to run on a wide variety of platforms without too many issues. But aside from that, the base mod itself is really ready to go, unless you plan on playing this through Epic Game Store. Yet
Yeah,
another reason Epic Game Store is bottom of the barrel. No, but in all seriousness, it doesn't support update rollbacks, which has been announced by the Fallout London team as a mandatory requirement. The Fallout 4 next gen update is so unstable that they're not even using the latest edition of Fallout 4. They're forcing a mandatory rollback to make this mod work. And while that may look bad on Epic's behalf because they don't support the rollbacks, I think really that says more about Bethesda's update and the way they've been handling the game and this whole situation than it does anything else.
yeah. I mean, see, from a personal point of view, like when I heard that there was going to be an update, I was quite excited, but at the same time, I was not annoyed, but I was like concerned because, like you, Raw, and I'm like many others, like in the Fallout community, they've got their Fallout 4 modded. You know, they've got it spec'd to how they want to they want to play it, like in terms of graphics mods,
Like
companion mods.
950 mods installed right now, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Do you
Crazy.
know what I mean? That just hits the nail on the head.
Yeah,
And having that update with the new mechanics that they're going to introduce or whatever, which turned out to be next to nothing. You know,
right.
it was hardly even an enhancement. Me personally, I didn't do the update. I've got my game set on pause when it comes to updates, so I'm still running on the original sort of
Pre
well,
next gen. Yeah.
the pre next gen version. So I've not done that, and I'm still downloading mods and stuff like that to use through Mod Organizer. But yeah, I mean that was I just it's the same story. It happened with I'm pretty sure it happened with Skyrim when the Skyrim Ultimate Edition came out. A lot of things got a lot of mods had to be redone, and it must be a nightmare, an
Right.
absolute nightmare for modders. And that leads me on to the Fallout London sort of debacle as well, because Bethesda gave them essentially like 2 days warning, saying this update was going to go live. Can you imagine what you would feel like as a developer of that game? You put your heart and soul into
Yeah.
this game. Do you know what I mean? Put your heart and soul, like a dedicated modding team. Do you know what I mean? There's not just like the modding team itself, the voice actors, you know, that must have been a massive blow. Like, just Bethesda, what were you doing? Just give them some warning,
Well,
let them know what was going on.
okay, to be fair, just real quick interjection, looking at this from all perspectives, we had been waiting on Fallout London to get an actual release date for a while. We were also waiting on that time for Fallout 4 to get an update because Bethesda had been teasing that next gen update was coming, like for a month or two at that point. They were talking about that. It sucks that they only gave them 2 days to prep for it. But just imagine the repercussions if Bethesda didn't do that. Imagine they actually push out London 2 days later. Bethesda Ghost drops the next gen update that they've been teasing for months. Imagine what their stance with the community would have looked like at that point.
Yeah, it'd been even worse. But at the same time, a bit of communication, it's not difficult. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? A bit of communication to and fro to say this is when we plan to do it, or we've had some with there's been some hiccups with the update. It's going to be delayed. I suggest you maybe do. All it takes is a bit of communication, and it clearly wasn't there. I don't think a 2 day warning. Wow. I mean, for
yeah.
guys that have been working to the bone, like getting this project that they're so passionate about,
And
and
Bethesda knows that too. Like they've been
yeah,
watching them. They're clearly watching these teams. Like they've hired people from London. They've hired people from Miami, if I'm not mistaken. The Capital Wasteland Project. Like all these big teams, all the major mods. Like some of the heads of those like modding scene, modding groups, the dev teams. There we go. The heads of those dev teams have been getting hired by Bethesda. Like they're keeping track of all this stuff. They know what's going on. They know where everyone's at with the release schedules, with the current updates. And again, like you keep saying, it would have been too easy to just communicate that. Like, hey, we're planning on sometime around this period. Don't expect to release anything.
I mean they've not got I mean it's like unofficial. They've not got an obligation to do that, but at the same
Yeah.
time, like you said, they have been keeping constant overwatch. They've been watching. They've been poaching
Yeah.
developers. I mean, do you know what I mean? And that's what kind of baffles me a little bit. those guys are clearly talented people. Those guys that are doing it as a fan project. They're not doing it for financial gain or anything like that. It's pure passion from what I've seen anyway. And yeah, just it's a bit of a kick in the teeth to them. However, hopefully there's a bright ending to this, and when it does get released, there's no real issues and stuff like that. So we've got to look at the positive side of it as well, in terms of when it's launched, how the optimization is, the compatibility is, but it is Bethesda, so not the company itself that are doing Fallout London, but there's bound to be some sort of hiccups or bugs here and there. Do you know what I mean?
It just works, man.
Yeah, it
Works.
just works. It just works. But yeah, I mean, we've touched on that side of things. I mean, like Fallout London, essentially an overview of it really. It says it on the tin. It's going to be set in London, which is going to be a massive jump in the franchise. I know it's a mod. I know it's a mod. It's not official. However, excuse me, having to be able to play a Fallout game outside of the US is going to be pretty cool. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a new setting.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be different factions. It's basically going to be a new experience, exploring like the cultural London, checking out the architecture, the uniqueness of London, all that sort of stuff. The characters, it's all going to be very, very different, and that's what I'm kind of excited about. Finding out the sort of story, which I did try to do a bit of research, but I can't really find a lot of the plot or anything like that. It's more I can see like the sort of factions, the sort of the location. Like there's going to be like, you're going to be obviously exploring London. There's going to be the subways. There's going to be all that sort of stuff. There's going to be all these new characters to meet. So yeah, I'm genuinely quite excited about that. It's going to be very fresh. It's going to be a fresh approach to Fallout.
Yeah, I'm intentionally like I'm doing everything I can not to have too much of it spoiled. I've watched the trailers. I've watched the trailers several times, but as far as doing further digging, further research, I've been really intentional.
Going back to my point, I mean, all these characters are very, very interesting, and you want to know their backstory. You want to see how they develop and things like that. And it's all good. But I'm looking forward to that when it comes to Fallout London. Not only that. Sorry to Rob, but I'm going to just touch on a few other bits and bobs. Like apparently there's going to be new weapons. Like you would expect that in the London setting. Yeah, there's like obviously new items, enemies that fit into the London setting. There's going to be an advanced crafting system as well, which I was unaware of at the time. So I mean, that'll be interesting to see how that comes along, how they're going to approach that when it comes to crafting weapons and all that. Another thing that I'm quite excited for, and it's quite unique to Fallout as well. Well, it is very unique to Fallout. New radio stations. Do you know what I mean? That'd be really, really
God,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, so
for
new
sure.
radio, like, yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what the sort of songs and stuff like that, and the sort of feel of the radio stations are. That'd be awesome to listen to and discover. But even they even hinted about unique mechanics to take advantage of the urban setting. So I don't know what that means. Such as like, I think I'm looking at vertical exploration and interactions with historical sites. That's what I'm reading right now. So take that take that as you would, because that seemed to me, that sounds quite interesting. How you interact with historical sites. So you never know what that could implement.